Page Punchers!
Well, here we are again, super friends. Welcome back to my channel and to another action figure review. This time we will be reviewing the Page Punchers Steve Trevor, Obsidian, and Mr. Bones. Now each action figure comes with their own trading card. Obsidian's and Mr. Bones are the same as the image for the back of the package, while Steve Trevor's is actually a portrait of Steve, instead of the comic book reproduction of Wonder Woman issue number 1. And while, as mentioned, Steve Trevor's is a reproduction of a portion of the summer issue of Wonder Woman number 1, Obsidian's and Mr. Bones, well, they're just a piece of cardboard. And on the back of each of them, you have a black and white image of the same image as the front. But it's the same image, and this is just weird. Like, how is it a page puncher if there's no comic that comes with it? That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I suppose these will make neat things to hang on the wall. And like I said, each figure comes with their own individual trading card. Here is the bio for Mr. Bones. Currently, Mr. Bones is not a villain. He's actually on the side of good. Obsidian. And here is the data file on the back for him. Wow, that is different than we're used to seeing. This is a slightly different kind of data file here. It's almost like whoever made this had no idea who this character was and just like ripped this off of something from online. And then of course we have Colonel Stevie up close. What a fantastic portrait. And we turn it around and there is Steve Trevor's data file. Feel free to pause to read that one as well if you would like to. As for the figures, we're going to start by looking at Steve Trevor on the left. Then we're going to move on to Obsidian and then Mr. Bones. Now, Steve Trevor is a character that I've always really liked. He's the love interest, the main squeeze of Diana Wonder Woman. At least that's quite often how he is portrayed. There's been times in the DC universe where they haven't really been with each other. But currently, they are definitely each other's main squeezes. And this figure is so fantastic. I don't know for sure, but looking at it, I'm gonna guess that it's all new parts for the most part, I guess. Like the pants and boots may be reused. I don't know for sure, but I can definitely say that the entirety of the arms and probably the gloves and the jacket and clearly the head sculpt, well, they're all newly sculpted, so that's kind of cool. Steve Trevor comes with a sidearm, his little pistol here. It would have been really neat if there was a holster or someplace to put his gun somewhere on his person, but at least he comes with a gun. Up close and personal, Steve Trevor's head sculpt looks really great. They've got some toning in the hair there. It's yellow with some orange kind of brushed into it. His big military hat looks fantastic. You got the eagle in the top there. You got his nice blue eyes, his well-defined chin. Yeah, square job man. This looks really nice. And I love all the details in his jacket too, with the belt that goes across. You've got his awards there, his badges. Here's what he looks like from the back in his military attire. A very cool looking figure. Here he is as the beefcake in a Diana Steve sandwich wedged in between the two. We have the classic Wonder Woman on the left that he was intended to go with. And we have just a regular classic Wonder Woman as well. I wanted to see what she would look like with him. As for how articulated Steve Trevor is, well, let's find out together because I have no idea. He can look up about that, look down about that. His head bobbles around quite nicely. Maybe he looks like he's taken a slap or a punch from a Nazi before he goes and hands their ass to them himself. That's why he has this closed fist for punching Nazis. And then we've got his arms. What do? They go up. That's their T-pose. That's acceptable to me. We can see the socket right there inside. He still has that socket and the arms go around like that. Of course, they have the hinge and they're going to go all the way around as well. He's got the full 360 bicep swivel, the double jointed elbows that are very nice. He has wrist articulation. by the way of the same way that McFarlane always done it, but his jacket does get in the way a little bit, so don't expect it to be perfect. Inside of his body, he does have, it feels like, articulation, but I mean, really, you're not going to be doing nothing with this big rubber jacket on top. Like, there's no posability whatsoever, so don't expect that. And then he's got his groin down here with the McFarlane style of attaching the legs, the little ratchets there, goes out that before you're having to worry about ripping his jacket, and forward about that, not super great, and back, not super great, but he does look really good on the shelf. And, you know, his legs are, I would say, 45% what I would hope for, but understandable that they're not, because, again, the jacket gets in the way. What does he have for the thigh cut? Yeah, not much. Goes out further than it goes in. Certainly wish it was better. We have his double-jointed, crunched-up knees like that. The rounded hinge in his ankle. There goes the boot up and down. It's pivoting. And you have full toe articulation as well. So, not bad. Certainly a very cool figure, if not lacking in the articulation department a little bit. And next we have son to Alan Scott, brother to Jade, teammate to people on the Justice Society, previously Infinity Incorporated, with the powers of being able to transform into a shadow, superhuman strength, flight, size alteration with shadow constrict manipulation, Obsidian. Now, Obsidian came with these extra hands, a trigger finger hand, because, well, I can't figure out for the life of me why they give him a trigger hand and this open splayed finger hand, as well as these two open flighty flight hands. This character just looks so very cool. I've always really admired the design of Obsidian. I love these belts that we have here. We got the one belt around his waist with these round balls, and then we have the one that's around his neck as well. I've always just really thought that he was a well-designed character, for sure. There's his boot area, and this guy, we can see which body buck he's made on. He's made on the Lee Bermejo Superman body buck. He's basically just a Superman figure with newly sculpted belt, neck piece, cape, and head. And the wrist things here give it away that it's that Superman buck, if nothing else. For those of you who would like an actual physical comparison, well, we can see here with him wedged in between Superman Blue and Superman Red that this is indeed the exact same body use. And I, for one, am fine with that, based on the fact that if it's going to get us more figures, then I will take it. It's good to have a couple good naked body bucks that you can put different characters on. Body blanks are an important part of the process of getting new characters. As is stating the obvious here, he comes with a cloth goods cape that has a wire in it, and it goes all the way up and around his head here. So it's that kind of cloth goods cape. And it's weird though. It's a cloth goods cape that comes out like this, but the wire stops right here in the bottom corner and then picks up again. It's just weird. It's weird how they did that, but it is nice that the cape is posable, that you can have his cape all splayed out behind him or whatever, or possibly get him into some reasonable flight poses and have the cape sort of, you know, off to the side like that. Obsidian's face sculpt isn't too bad. It's black and blue, pretty simple, so it's hard to say whether or not the details are bad or wrong. Like, it looks pretty good from where I'm sitting. So he's got the smiley face, and I think they did that because otherwise it would just look like he doesn't have a mouth. He reminds me of that one smiling emoji. His articulation is actually going to be pretty good, I'm assuming, because it's made on a body buck that has good articulation. The articulative properties of this body buck are actually pretty good. Like, look at the torso. The torso is really good, looking down, looking back, like so much. You can get this guy into a great flight pose, no problemo. All 360 swiveling waist, torso, arms going around 360, T-pose being up about that. That looks pretty good. You got your bicep swivel that's going to do 360. You've got his arms like that crunch right down. I mean, we've seen this articulation so many times before. We have the swivel wrist. We've got the McFarlane style groin right here. We have some more reasonable than a lot of other characters approximation of a thigh cut, the double jointed knee like that, and then the rounded shaped hinge going down a lot, going up a lot, and you have the piece of toe articulation. In my opinion, an excellent figure with fantastic articulation. And then next, finally, we have Mr. Bones. A character who, though now a good guy, started off as a villain. And what an interesting looking character. I mean, he just screams D-list villain, but he still is interesting looking. And I'm glad they chose to make this older, more colorful version rather than what he looked like in his later years. It's funny because this guy right here, it looks like he's a skeleton, but he's not actually a skeleton. His skin and everything is just invisible. So this is what his body actually looks like, but he's not wearing a mask or anything like that, so you can't see his facial structure. It just looks like a skeleton. The skull crossbones on his chest are painted super crisp. The cape clasps that go around with the little skulls on them, they look super nice. The paint deco at the top of his boots, his gauntlets, and his pants, his trunks, looks really nice and crisp as well. I'm pretty sure that up here, the top of his legs is a new sculpt that they've made to attach onto the legs. And I think that the gauntlets are too. I think his gloves are a new sculpt. Just like Obsidian, this guy is clearly made on the Superman base body buck. Just like Obsidian, the previous figure, as well, he also has a cloth goods cape, and the wire also stops down here in the bottom, which is weird, but it's the same setup. You got a collar, you got the cape, you got the wires, and I like that. A cloth goods cape means more fun and more play. And we mustn't forget, more posability. Mr. Bones' skull head sculpt is actually something quite nice too. I like this. I think that this looks really, really good. What is going on inside his eyes there? Is that reflective paint? I don't know what's going on there, but that looks cool. This is just a very cool looking head sculpt with the cracks in the skull and the craggles. And yeah, I like this a lot. As for the articulation, I'm going to refrain because, let's face it, we just did Obsidian and he has the exact same articulation because he's made in the exact same body buck. So I think that this is also actually a fantastic figure, a character that is a deep cut and not a lot of people know. I mean, being honest, I would say not a lot of people know who either of these characters are. I would say you're a fan of DC and you read comics if you know who Obsidian is, but I would say a lot of DC fans have no idea who this guy is. Heck, even Steve Trevor, if it wasn't for the Wonder Woman movie introducing people to the character, I would think that a lot of people don't know who all three of these characters are. I would say Steve Trevor is probably the most known, but I gotta hand it to McFarlane. These are three fantastic cuts for characters. I am really stoked with these. Anyway, those are my thoughts, opinions, and views on these guys. Thank you so much for coming and checking out this video and sticking around to the end. It means a lot to me, and I will see you all with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.